What is up, guys, and welcome to the ESL Major League Americas. I'm Solid Jake.
And I'm Kubi.
And, well, it's patch day.
It is patch day. A lot of changes today. A lot of changes. Too many to cover. And even just the short 5 minutes that we have with you guys. So we're just going to have to watch and see what happens, really. I mean, there's so many nerfs, buffs, complete reworks for heroes.
It's going to be a crazy day of games because it's hard. I mean, the players have had, what, 4 or 5 hours to play this new patch, and you know they're kind of just being thrown into the pit.
Yeah,
just kind of like, here, go. Now, on that note, Lost Vikings are not in play.
Right. It's just a ESL rule going forward from here on out that on patch week.
Yep.
If a new hero or map has been introduced, then it will be banned out for an entire week, just to allow teams to be given some time to figure out some strategies on it, just so that it's not completely insane going forward from there. The other thing is, as this patch was dropped, it was discovered that Rainer's Adrenaline Rush, that's sort of his passive E ability, as it activates, it cleanses all stuns that go off onto it. So
it's a bit of a bug. Do we know the final word on that? If
yes, it's actually going to be, because it was found so last minute, it's going to be up to the teams that are playing
so
tonight.
We don't know the...
I do know. I do know.
Okay.
I don't know who banned, because it was sort of a blind pick type thing, but it will not be in play, at least for this first series here. So no Rainer in play, so he will be temporarily banned out. Lost Vikings are banned. Other than that, everything is fair game.
Yep. Rainer, of course, one of the heroes that received a massive rework, so that's just kind of one of those bugs that happen to be in there.
Sure, yeah. I'm sure that will get hotfixed.
Yeah.
If it's not intentional. I mean, it's not listed in the tooltip, so I would guess that's probably a bug.
Yeah, until we get confirmation from Blizzard, we won't actually know if that's intended or
Right.
not, but it doesn't seem to be working as intended as far as we can tell. On that note, though...
yeah, I will give them the go-ahead. I think I see that Dunk is asking if they're ready to go, and I believe we are good to go.
Yeah, so just speaking about tonight, we have 2 games here for you, and that is not at all what I want to be looking at. Here we go!
Hey.
BARRELBOYS versus Cloud9 Maelstrom is going to be our first series here, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. For the second series tonight,
we have 2 Arc Iliad versus Murlocs Inc. Now, if I recall correctly, BARRELBOYS won their game last week, and Murlocs won their game last week. So
I think you're right.
2 Arc lost to Heroes Hype, and I think Maelstrom, they lost their game, right?
I believe so, but you know what? We've cast so many games since then.
I know.
My brain is a bit
especially
fuzzy.
with Kings of Between. So I want to say it's BARRELBOYS are up a game, Maelstrom's down. C9, I mean Murlocs is up a game and 2 Arc is down.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that.
Yeah, well, we're going to get the official confirmation on the standings, and pretty soon we'll actually have pretty graphics to show you guys standings moving forward. But as it stands, we actually do have our draft process ready to rock and roll here.
To that. We are looking at, of course, the Stormcraft client. Just a nice little UI for teams to sort of go through the pick ban process. There's still some tweaks that need to be made to the in-game client. So that we can, yeah, I see that there's some interest. I'll get to that in a second.
Cheekiness.
So there's some tweaks that need to be made to the in-game client. That's why we don't use it just yet. The biggest one being the coin flip. So we can't actually determine who gets first pick, first ban, etc. So we are using this in the interim until that is patched to, to the competitive scene's liking. We'll be using this. So BARRELBOYS did get first pick, first ban here, and they have opted for Asmodan as their first ban.
All right. Let's talk about Asmodan. This is weird. Asmodan received no changes. Asmodan is the same hero that we've always known and loved or hated. It goes both ways. We saw him used last week on Black Hearts in a very specific strategy in Kings of the Storm by Tempo Storm. I don't know if that's warranting a ban, and I think this is just a throwaway.
I think that it could be a little bit of both. Perhaps BARRELBOYS has a little bit of inside intel that Maelstrom perhaps has been trying to run the strategy. Cursed Hollow's a map that it's feasible on. I mean, it's let's say it's terrible on Haunted Mines, right? It's really good on a map where some lanes are a little bit closer together. On Cursed Hollow, the lanes are very evenly spaced, right? So it's a little bit difficult for Asmodan to sort of bounce between lanes to get more stacks on that globe. That said, yeah, it's probably just a throwaway ban. They wanted to probably force out a Stitches ban from Maelstrom. They didn't bite. They wanted to get rid of that. That Zeratul, which was actually wreaking havoc in Kings of the Storm Winners Finals this past week. We was played out game 1 from BARRELBOYS. I will go ahead and say it. They stomped all over Tempo Storm in that game.
I think it was game 2 actually, but yeah.
No, it was the first game. So I recall them banning out Zeratul for the next 2 games.
Oh, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Okay. But yeah, it was Cursed Hollow, and the 0-2 play was actually just
spot on. There were 0 mistakes.
Yeah. It was.
I'll go ahead and say it. There were no mistakes. Not that I could see, at least. I mean, I'm sure if I want to go back and watch the replay, there was probably small things here and there. But overall, every Void Prison was perfect and allowed for a ton of kills. So, absolutely, I can understand why Cloud9 Maelstrom chooses to ban out Zeratul in this case. So then we see a first pickup for Stitches on BARRELBOYS here. Did receive some nerfs. I believe that the hook cooldown was increased by 2 seconds and Gorge DPS was halved.
Yep.
That said, it seems like, the general utility of Stitches is still there. It doesn't surprise me to see that he's picked up early.
Very minor nerf.
Yeah.
Probably
when you consider that Arthas probably got heavier nerfs.
Oh, goodness.
Tyrael got heavier nerfs. So Stitches, I think, is still going to be sitting in that top warrior spot.
Cream of the crop. Cream of the crop.
Cream of the crop.
Easily. And then Rhaegar picked up there as their support. Very uncommon, but becoming more and more common. People are starting to value Ancestral Healing. The only change we've seen on Rhaegar today is he no longer has a full-on root with Earthgrasp Totem. It's now a 90% slow. Very minor change that changes almost nothing, really, because roots do not actually interrupt or stun or anything like that.
Yeah.
And then, then we have Vala being picked up
Vala.
here.
I think there were no changes to Vala with the exception of her picking up a level 20 talent.
Which can make her scary.
Yeah, so it's possible that we will see more auto attack builds, right? But go ahead.
I believe it's Frenzy or Nexus Frenzy, I believe is the name of the talent.
Yeah, I think that's about right.
And it's 20% increased attack range and damage added to Vala's auto attacks.
It's ranged and, well, I guess attack speed.
Attack speed.
It's kind of like...
You're right. Attack speed, not damage. But still, like, that makes Vala actually... If you're going an auto attack style with her, that's terrifying. Now, a lot of heroes got these. These are the new level 20 talents. There's 4 of them. They kind of reworked the Storm one. Fury of the Storm.
Fury of the Storm one.
Everything is named Storm in this game. I'm like, so many names are so confusing.
All right, let me hop into this lobby here. And I think these teams went through the draft so quickly because there's just so much to talk about.
Yep. We got to get Kubi here in the lobby. Gonna throw him an invite here. And getting Kubi in. Yeah, so we can actually see the full rosters here, and this is quite interesting. We're on Cursed Hollow, so we're seeing Tyrande. I like that. Muradin didn't really see a lot of changes. He lost Rewind, which is kind of a big deal.
That's a big one. I think that's going to be a bit more of a change than people are expecting. This is some obvious ones like, oh, Kerrigan, she doesn't have Rewind, which that might point to why we don't see her at all here. No Rewind on Kerrigan. I think it's going to hurt Muradin a lot too.
Yeah.
So
definitely,
I'll pay attention to see how much is effective. I mean, he can't leap in, stun, rewind, stun, and then leap out. That's no longer an option, right? So yeah, then that's Jake's pointing that out too. Double warrior. So
that's interesting. I mean, we're looking at double warrior and technically double support, but Tyrande, of course, is more of a flex.
Yeah, that's
kind
true.
of in between. Vala is going to be their primary source of damage, but on this map, Tyrande does hit very hard, especially going later in the game. Of course, the game is significantly different at level 20 on Cursed Hollow. We're going to be hitting 20 almost guaranteed with longer games, and I mean, the new power spikes that we see with these new level 20 talents are very cool. Yeah. But on the flip side,
ETC, Uther, Hammer, Nazebo, Tassadar. That's a bit more of a typical composition, if that's what you want to call it. I mean, ETC, not necessarily a high pick. I guess you would expect to see maybe Arthas in that spot, but he received a lot of changes too in this last patch in terms of mana cost for his Frozen Tempest, Ghoul, HP regen, and things of that nature. So whether he fits into that super tanky role anymore, that will remain to be seen. And I think it's probably a safer bet still to go with ETC because I don't recall there being any big changes to him aside from picking up a level 20 talent.
Let's talk about your girl Hammer. The game is loading up. This is a best of 3 series. Game number 1 on Cursed Hollow will be played out here between the BARRELBOYS and Cloud9 Maelstrom. Let us pray that the teams are on the right side, Kubi.
I think I'm feeling it.
You feeling it?
I'm feeling it.
We have a 50% chance to be successful in this endeavor.
Yeah, I'm feeling it.
Okay, good.
I think we got it.
Now, Hammer. Hammer is a hero that has been picking up a lot of popularity in the last several weeks. Mm-hmm. There's been one direct and one indirect change. The direct change is Bullhead Mines, a level 13 talent on Sergeant Hammer, used to spawn 3 mines that would knock back.
Yeah.
Now, only the middle mine knocks back, but it knocks back further.
Yes. So that's it depends on how you want to look at it. I mean, I would say it's definitely probably a nerf overall. considering that, yeah, if you have a ranged auto attacker, you can just snipe the middle one out, and then boom, you're done.
Yeah,
Jake's
we did
throwing his
it!
hands up. I'm guessing that means we have the team icons on the right side.
That is correct.
You know what that means? That means we can hop right into some introductions. How about we do that? Does that sound good?
Yeah, it sounds great.
Let's do that. All right, on the blue side, for BARRELBOYS, we have McIntyre on Muradin. Blinks is going to be playing Rhaegar. Fan on Tyrande. Fury will be playing Stitches, and rounding it out, we will have Trummel on Vala.
Fixing my settings there. Sorry about
Real
that,
quick.
guys.
Real quick.
On the other half, we do have Biceps playing as Nazebo. iDream will be on Sergeant Hammer. Then we have Dunk Train playing as Uther. K1 Pro on Tassadar. And last but not least, it's going to be King Caffeine on the ETC. Now, talking a little bit more about Sergeant Hammer, one of the scary things is she also has the level 20 talent that gives the 20% attack speed and attack range. And you give additional attack range to a siege tank?
Yeah.
And now they've nerfed bullhead mines, so it's going to be more likely to see hover siege.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's where you would pick up the 5 mines in 16. So
Right,
you'll either see hover siege or graduating range. I don't think the graduating range will be grabbed. It's possible.
I think hover siege could.
13 is where you get the bullhead, right? Yeah. And now it's possible that we'll see Giant Killer. Actually, Giant Killer is very likely because of the 2 tanks that are present here. I think that's a good possibility. But actually, at level 1 here, we are looking at that CC reduction, the 75% reduction, while in siege mode.
That's really pointing towards the hover siege.
Yeah, I think so.
Ooh, but that CC reduction not helping Hammer there as she gets picked off right quick in a 2v3 lane, honestly, or never in 3v3, excuse me. Yeah. Pretty far forward, honestly. I guess
so
the
this double, that hook and Lunar Flare could have been a little bit better synergized there. I don't know if they would have still gotten the kill. But cool concept to see nonetheless. Yeah, I'm just curious to see how this double warrior composition ends up panning out, especially in the team fights, etc. Other big thing to mention, I'm real excited to see it. Oh, really nice. That's going to be a kill on Biceps. One more auto attack. Yeah, they get it.
Okay. Yep. For a second there, I believe McIntyre is going to lose his life, so it is a trade 1-for-1. Currently 2-for-1 in favor of BARRELBOYS.
There it is, that missing rewind. He already couldn't leap back out. Kidding, guys. Kidding.
Kubi is so upset about this rewind change. No. But yeah, seriously, that's the power. The hook and the Lunar Flare. It's such a powerful combo. And then you throw Hunter's Mark into the equation, and good night, sweet hero.
No longer a prince. He's now a hero. Is that an upgrade or is that a demotion?
I personally would say a hero is definitely cooler than prince. I mean, who aspires to be a prince versus a hero?
Yeah, but you get like an entire nation if you're a prince, right? Like that's,
if you're a hero, you can win the love of millions.
All right. Okay. I'll give it to you just this once, though.
If you're a prince, what are you going to be on, a dollar bill or a quarter or something? I mean,
all right, let's talk about some of these level 4 talents. We don't see too much aggression here in that bottom lane. We do have Farsight picked up at level 4 for Rhaegar. Just for that extra vision, that is basically clairvoyance, except 1 tier earlier. Yep, Rhaegar gets everything nice and early. He gets to open all of his gifts on Christmas Eve, you think?
He's got the life. I mean, he really does.
Yeah, we do have that extra healing ward from Tyrande at level 4. Full utility build out of Stitches here that includes the Chew Your Food and Amplified Healing, just to make them quite a bit more difficult to kill.
mean, just looking at Healing Ward plus Stitches in general, 30% additional healing with Amplified Healing, and then 3% of your total base life healed. That's a lot of healing.
40%. That's 40% over for 10 seconds right there.
Could we just math the stream, guys?
Sorry, I know I shouldn't.
Oh, wow, he gets Bicep out through the back with a big Lunar Flare. Hunter's Mark was not put down. We see the first healing ward does go down here to keep them nice and healthy, but Tribute is picked up.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the hook and Lunar Flare was nice, so there wasn't really a way to follow up on that without putting ranged assassins in, you know, a really dicey situation. So they're just sort of doing it to harass, put a little bit of pressure on. Meantime, both teams are soaking, at least in that mid lane. We did see that there were 4 heroes rotated down to take that tribute. First one going to C9 Maelstrom.
Well, the game is pretty much normalizing here. 1 tribute goes to the side of Maelstrom, like you said. We're seeing the multi-shot build out of Vala, and level 7 has been hit here by Maelstrom. First aid, we're seeing actually the mule on Zebo here. Cleanse. We do have Deep Shift.
Deep Shift. Dimensional shift duration increased by 1.5 seconds. That's an interesting one.
Yeah, it's a very defensive style dash.
Yeah, that's something where you're giving up that crit damage on anything that's caught in your side song, right? Which is it's a big deal when it comes to
damage output is
Wait a minute.
missing.
Do you think? Are we gonna see the wall?
Kubi, Kubi trying to make these big calls.
Are we gonna see the wall?
Well, now the reason Kubi's thinking about the wall here is when you have an additional 1.5 seconds, that's a long time in Heroes. While in that shift, you can get in really weird positions. And oh, that was a nice job by Dunk going down and not over. And through that, you can set up some really cheeky walls.
That's true. I wonder if they fixed the glitch where you could actually see the little ring underneath Tassadar while he was in E. If they did fix that for this patch, I didn't read through all the bug fixes, then that means you're right. You're exactly right about that, and especially if he grabs that speed upgrade at level 16. He could get into some crazy positions. And you're right, some weird walls could be possible. I think we've probably spent about a minute conjecturing of what to do with this wall, and then he's going to go for Archon anyway.
Yeah, it's
we'll
fair.
See.
It's fair. Looking on the flip side, though, we do have the triple battle momentum on Tirana, Vala, and Muradin.
Yeah.
It's becoming more and more popular on Tirana. The Hunter's Mark does go down. Lunar Flare is going to miss, and Nocturne's going to get out. If that Flare hit, kill there, but no dice.
Actually, that battle momentum on Muradin is a bit odd. More often than not, you're going to see that piercing storm bolt, but perhaps with the rewind.
Yeah.
Maybe they're looking for.
Oh,
nice
the trust was there, but it's not going to be enough. Zombie wall goes down to zone them out, and nicely done by both teams right there.
You think we're going to see Bloodlust? That's a lot of battle momentums.
No, you have double tank. You're going to see ancestral healing.
Yeah.
It's an interesting idea, but it's very uncommon. Level 10 hit by both teams at pretty much identical. We do see the Ancestral, the Avatar, Starfall, Putrid Bile straight, and on the other side.
Yeah, we do have that Divine Storm, Ravenous Spirit, Napalm, Strike, Archon, and Mosh Pit. Nothing too crazy there. I know we're talking a lot about that Force Wall, but not today. Maybe sometime in the distant future we'll see the Force Wall make that resurgence, but today is not that day, and we do have that third very important tribute coming up here for C9 Maelstrom, and it's going to be important that they interrupt. And Blinks is trying to get in there to sacrifice himself to sort of interrupt that and no go, and we do have that first curse going down for C9 Maelstrom. They're going to get quite a bit of push out of that, especially with Rhaegar down for an additional 10 seconds here.
Wow, they're not even going to get this kill on iDream. So unfortunate. They lost Blinks in that early engagement, who didn't even manage to stun it out. Dunk with a really nice juke, going to stay alive. The Sentinel not even going to be enough to pick up that kill. Dunk will just tap the well. Yeah. This game is, 3 tributes to none, level advantage. Yep. It's pretty heavily in favor of Maelstrom at this point in time.
Sure. I think that was a good dodge from Uther. I didn't see the cleanse pop up, but it's possible that he cleansed himself there because it almost looked like he didn't escape.
Pretty sure he dodged it. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, okay.
Actually, no, cleanse.
I didn't see the
We
cleanse
may
message.
never know.
We'll have to check the replay some other day. All right. Yeah, we do see that C9 Maelstrom is continuing to push down each of these lanes, so they have that huge push advantage with the minions being at 1 HP. Tends to get those minion waves pushed pretty far forward.
There's that far sight we talked about.
Pretty important. It's good for BARRELBOYS so that they can get that extra knowledge just to see how are they spending this time during the curse here. Are they trying to take the boss? Are they just continuing to push down this lane? And they're going to get 2 forts out of it, so pretty sizable experience lead. That's what we can see up top of the screen there. Of course, that 1 level lead for C9 Maelstrom. And, things are looking pretty good for them. We have to think of a little bit about how BARRELBOYS can sort of start to come back. They're not too far behind, but they're going to have to capitalize a little bit more on those picks that they've been getting,
Yeah, definitely. The hook Lunar Flare is nice, but if you don't capitalize on it, it's not really.
That could be the start of things right here. Do we see that free hook onto Dunk Train here into the stun?
There's the stun, and the body block is here with the Avatar going forward, but sprint out of Uther should be enough to save him. The Dwarf Toss goes forward. He does throw the hammer, but it's not going to be quite enough. Boss very low at this point in time. We hear the future file going off. Dunk Train very low. The Ravenous in the back is going to town. This boss is so low, but Starfall should be enough to zone them back on out. Every single member of BARRELBOYS is very healthy at this point in time. They're going to steal this boss, and Dunk Train, if he sticks around, the hook will pull him in, and they will pick up a kill with a really nice body block. Yeah. That's what BARRELBOYS needed to get back in this game.
I really didn't expect the fight to go in that direction after they threw the hook down and they spent a ton of resources trying to kill Uther there, and he still was able to sprint out. I was like, okay. And then I saw the future bomb, and I was like, I think this is a giant mistake. I saw that, and I was like, they spent so much trying to kill one person, didn't get away with it, and that's their healer who's just going to run the back line. They, I think they just picked up on the right timing there, where a lot of C9 Maelstrom was just low in health, having fought the boss, and then just were able to sort of wrap the right kills together. And yeah, there's really nice body block at the end, to sort of like the icing on the cake.
Fan.
Yeah, we need to see them
Fan
getting
is
out.
overstayed now. The Lunar Flare is there. Of course, having Lunar Blaze is going to increase that width and just max cast range as well. But nicely done there getting out. And look at this new Hearthstone animation. So fancy and whimsical.
good heads up from BARRELBOYS there, just to cancel. They were all hearthing back because they saw that Toronto's in trouble. So nicely done on that part. We do have those level 13 talents picked up. Thunderstrike. Thunderclap deals 300% damage if one target is hit. That's in replacement, for, of course, for that rewind at level 13. Barrel lunge, extra AoE and range on that lunar flare. We did see that that was playing into a little bit of effect of Toronto getting out of that last situation there. Relentless, of course, still on Stitches at 13, and that Frost Shot.
Yeah, if you're going Putrid Bile, you pretty much have to get Relentless. You want to be in their face with that filth, getting that filth all over them.
The filth. And on the other side, for Cloud9 Maelstrom, we do have Sprint picked up for both Uther and Azebo. Of course, we saw that on Uther during that last team fight. Is that first strike? That is first strike picked up for Sergeant Hammer. So
all right.
This is the build that I was prophesizing earlier today. First strike probably, I'm guessing Hover Siege mode at 16, and then we're going to see that, is it Nexus Frenzy? Is that the name of it? Nexus Frenzy at level 20. So of course she gets extra range there, right? And if you guys aren't familiar with how first strike works, you get just a flat 25% damage bonus to your auto attacks if you haven't been damaged in the last 5 seconds, right? So if you, with that extra range at level 20, just sit in the backline in hover mode, or in hover siege mode, and just fire away, you just make it really difficult for the enemy team to get to you, you're going to be wailing away with some very hard-hitting auto attacks. We'll have to see how that pans out.
Well, we can see that they're taking care of this boss here. Nice quick. The wall will just about fall. No, it's going to live to see another day. Congrats to that wall on its success in life. Well, you can see they're pushing in forward here. Now, First Strike makes Hammer kind of have a bit of burst at the start of the fight. Ooh, if that hook had hit. And look at the trust. They throw that Lunar Flare out, just respecting their allies, saying, hey, look, I trust your hooks, man.
Gotta have the trust, man.
You do.
Gotta have the trust. I mean, we see that all the time with the Flare, the Root, a whole bunch of things. You just have to assume that the Stitches, because if you do get that pull into that stun, that's probably a secured kill. So, very close game right now. Both teams just about to hit level 16. BARRELBOYS will get there just a little bit ahead. And of course, that's going to be that extra range on the fishing hook, 2 Blood for Bloods, the Ranger upgrades to extra DPS. And yeah, hold on just a second.
Okay, that pushing hook does go out. Level 16 has been picked up here by BARRELBOYS at that slight level advantage. We can look at the 16 talents while they poke around. We do see the Ranger, the fishing hook, the Blood for Blood, and currently Muradin is thinking about it.
Yeah. I don't think he got cleansed during that last... the hook grazed him. I don't know if it was the E that dodged it or if it was the cleanse, but we do see K1 Pro's in a little bit of trouble here.
Yeah, opposing presence was the last time picked up. He's going to look for that hook with the zombie wall that be there to zone, and Hammer realizes, Stitches realizes that's the case and throws it elsewhere. Hammer is doing a great job keeping them from capping this, but we do see this initiative up top. We do see Avatar has been top. Strafe is being used here, trying to pick off Dunk Train. In the bottom half, we do have the Archon going on in this Ravenous Spirit, which is uncontested. The hook needs to go out. He does pick up Biceps with that hook, and that will stop at the Ancestral Healing use just in time, putting Curse Fury back at full health here. We do have the massive Starfall blowing them up. Divine Storm out of the Ghost, trying to keep them alive. King Caffeine backing on up. Is the hook available for Fury? Is it there? He's looking for it. There it is, but he misses.
Nice dodge there from King Caffeine, of course. And that will send that second tribute of this second set of tributes here going to BARRELBOYS, of course. Oh, and the Owl almost kills King Caffeine. That would have been a pretty sweet snipe there, but alas, no go. And yeah, that's going to put BARRELBOYS at a 2-0 advantage for that fight, of course. And they do pick up that tribute, so they just need one more. Yeah. I would say that gives them a pretty significant swing in terms of map control. They are still down a little bit in structure presence, but yeah, and that's a good thing to point out too, is the timing in which those bosses are going to respawn. Always going to be a point of contention in between those tribute fights.
Yes, so just about 15 seconds left on that bottom boss. The Sentinel out of Toronto constantly scouting out the enemy team, knowing they have 2 to 3 members in the mid lane. This is a free fort for them here, and they'll grab that back and up. Trummel's going to go fill up his mana, and Blink's going to do the same.
Yep, we do see them evening out that structure count. No keeps lost yet for either team. Which of course is always going to equate to a large amount of push potential with those catapults shoving down the lanes, but nothing yet. Each team is sort of just playing but passively, taking their giants, very safe giants respectively on either side of the map. And C9 Maelstrom is just looking to continue to shove down that mid lane where that last remaining fort is for both teams.
Yeah, battle for the mid. Well, it is 1 tribute away from a curse here for BARRELBOYS, and they want it. Of course, Cloud9 got the first curse of the game, going 3-0 at the start of the game, but they've done a wonderful job of bringing themselves back to the game.
Yep. See, both teams are sort of posturing here. The hook does go out. It is missed from Curse Variant is going to wait an additional 16 seconds now before he can fire another one of those off. I mean, that's a big deal, especially if, you know, of course, Maelstrom's going to be very familiar with what 16 seconds feels like, right? So they know how long they can sort of posture, right, around dodging that hook. Oh, it's always a big deal, of course. And just, yeah, once again, we see that hook going down once more. And, I mean, they're going to lose this battle over time, really, just because of the hammer, the extra range. This is so difficult to contest this. And we do see that hover siege mode coming out. And, of course, he's probably going to back up or at least get someone in front of him when that hook timer is back up. And we can see that K1 Pro is doing just that. He's walking for Sergeant Hammer here just to make sure that he gets free push and pressure.
Yeah, I mean, Fury really wants to hook the hammer. That is like, that's the fish he wants him to see. K1 Pro just going to dimensional shift out of here. Can pop Archon out of this if he likes it. The increased time makes it last so long. And they're doing a good job balling. As soon as the picture battle goes down, they know they don't want to be part of this. The heroic is effectively pretty much wasted here. It's a threat, but it's still been used. So that's one heroic off the table on the side here of BARRELBOYS. They're chipping away a little bit here with the Sentinel.
There it is.
But they pick it up. The Lunar Flare does go down. They're going to blow him up immediately. Really nicely done. Starfall goes down. The dance is hitting 3 members of BARRELBOYS, and the Divine Storm follow-up is doing so much work, and Sentinel Handling is just a bit late. It's 10-second cooldown when you try to cast it there, and it doesn't go off. Dunk Train gonna end up falling here in just a moment. The Dwarf toss forward here by McIntyre. One stun will secure this kill on K1 Pro, but he dimensional shifts, dodging both the hook and the stun at the last possible second. They will pick up this curse. The Ghost is gonna be a little bit late. It's 3 kills for 1, but oh my goodness, they find Nazebo.
That might have been, hands down, one of the coolest fights I've ever casted in Heroes. Just the amount of like posturing that was going on, the mind games with where K1 was positioning himself just to dodge the hook. I mean, that's probably why they grabbed that 1.5 extra seconds, just to make sure that he can block the hook, take the hook, and then as soon as he gets hooked over, immediately taps E so that he can get all the way back to his enemy team. And then they have that 16-second gap, which is kind of close to overlapping with the cooldown of dimensional shifts. So really cool strategy coming out there. They were, I mean, we saw that BARRELBOYS remained absolutely patient. They weren't overcommitting. He even popped his heroic and said, no, actually, it's not the right time to try to push in for this fight. So I'm actually just going to waste this rather than dying. They remained patient, grabbed the hook finally, and it paid off. So cool.
I mean, on the side of Stitches, having the patience to just wait and watch and wait and watch and look for that opportunity and just like kind of predict their patterns and throw that hook out and hope you get, because it's a long range. It's hard to hit a good hook and make sure they don't. I mean, juking it as a siege hammer is rough, even with hover siege. That's rough. But having a teammate to grab it for you, that's hard to predict and make them mess up.
Cool stuff. I mean, that's the high level heroes that I really enjoy. Like just sitting back and watching, like to see how they sort of position themselves ever so delicately for these team fights. Is really awesome stuff. Love it.
Yeah, really nice stuff. Well, we can just go over the level 16 talents that we have seen picked up here on the side of Maelstrom. Now, of course, we did see a full-on dimensional build here by our Tassadar player, and Hover Siege picked up by Amber.
Yep. So that's, I think, absolutely going to point towards that extra range and attack speed upgrade at level 20. Now, I'll be curious to see what's grabbed for the rest of the heroes that we haven't really quite gotten a chance to at least guess what they're going to do, but they're really pushing in towards this core here. I'm not sure they can do this.
This is cheeky. This is really cheeky. Now, each team traded bosses. They do force out a Ravenous, and that is the new Ravenous.
Oh, look at it.
Pretty. Her is the sound it makes.
Yeah, apparently.
They have this boss pushing on forward. It has a big lead on the enemy team boss.
No Ravenous.
This keep was already down as well. Ravenous on cooldown, straight doing so much damage here. And they have every right to regress. K1 Pro might get blown up here. Managed to use dimensional shift in the last possible second. Actually, that was Prescience popping there. Starfall is going to town. Dunked. K1 all taking a lot of damage there.
Oh no, this is a huge deal that the golem was actually aggroed by this keep here. It means that they're going to have not really a chance to push. I think that they should still have the advantage here. But
bit of a mistake there, actually throwing down the Lunar Flare before the hook actually went off, so the combos weren't able to go one after another here. K1 Pro is going to back on in to the fort, actually contemplating which way he wants to go. This keep will fall, like you said. Very unfortunate that the boss was aggroed up this way. They wanted to kill, they wanted to end the game, but they have to stay with their golem here.
Does that give them the timing to actually survive long enough for Sergeant Hammer to come up? That's going to be the interesting. Yeah, good catch there on that. I don't think that will result in them taking a kill. They do need to kill this as fast as possible, and we are going to see BARRELBOYS take that 1-0 advantage over C9 Maelstrom. Pretty close game though, and that, man, what how crazy of an ending would that have been
If
they
lost,
just didn't aggro?
Right.
Basically, what you have to do in that situation is sort of soak the shots from that keep as the golem is walking by. If he gets aggroed by the tower, then he walks over to kill the tower, and then he's in range to kill the keep, and he's going to walk over to kill the keep first. So it's something that you don't usually see make for a big problem in the end game in a push like that, but absolutely that almost was the cause for a loss. I honestly expected them to just back up. Like, oh, all right. It's unfortunate, but like it's risky to continue to push here, especially without a golem. But they went for it, continued to move forward, and it panned out.
I think hitting level 20 there, allowing them to get Storm Shield or level 20 talents, was enough to push them over the edge to be like, all right, we're safe here, because we have 20, they don't.
I think so,
And they hit 20 during that push. That was very convenient and made it very convincing at that point.
Sure.
But yeah, we saw that their core was down to 69% from the undefended golem. And that's scary.
Dicey. It was getting dicey. Yeah. Cool game though. A lot of fun fights there. I didn't quite catch all the 20 upgrades. I did see that Rewind was grabbed from Muradin. One Storm Shield.
I saw what was cast. I did not look at all of the talents below. So yeah, we know one Rewind and we know one Storm Shield, I believe.
Yeah,
but
I would be curious to see what Stitch is grabbed. Whether he goes for the heal on Putrid Bolt or now the
Putrid Bolt.
Putrid Bolt.
Is that what he said?
No, he could grab Bolt. Is what I'm saying.
See.
I'm just curious. He probably wouldn't.
Putrid Bolt sounds like a terrifying combo.
Yeah, you could bolt behind the enemy
team. Bile.
I don't think that's actually. I don't recall what Stitches were grabbing when they grabbed Putrid Bile. It's not usually the common pick, but now Gorge has been nerfed, so. I mean,
yeah, they have the damage from 200 to 100 damage at Gorge.
Yeah. But he also has that crazy 75% damage reduction. I don't recall the name of it just yet.
Nexus Shield or something.
Nexus Shield. But yeah, I mean, that's I think 4 seconds of 75% damage reduction while you're in Putrid Bile. It's huge. So I would expect that that's probably what he would have grabbed there, but I didn't catch it. So we'll have to just see next time. I'm sure Stitches will come back up and
yeah, I think we'll see him again.
Probably.
All right, guys. Well, that was game 1. This is a best of 3 series. So
yes,
we're gonna throw it a quick commercial break and find out what map we're playing on next. So you stay with us, and we'll be back in a bit. All right, guys, welcome back to the ESL Major League. We just saw Game 1, and this guy's the Kubi.
Yeah, and this guy, solid Jack Egg.
And this is a cat. Cat's gonna get her fame.
Oh, jeez. Here we go.
Oh. Cat loved that game.
I swear, guys, the cat is happier than this, like, on almost any other time. Right?
She's happy.
She doesn't look very happy.
She's just being held weird. She hates all of that.
Zombie cat, engage.
So Game 1.
That was a Game 1. Pretty interesting. A lot of cool fights that happened there. Didn't quite get to see all the level 20 talents that were grabbed. Actually, I did get the chance to talk to Fury in between games there, and he said he grabbed the shield upgrade, although he probably would have taken the bile upgrade at 20. But it was very close to the end of the game, so I don't think either of those really ended up making a huge difference. But fun to see. I'm going to be keeping an eye on those level 20 talents just to see which heroes are prioritizing them, etc. Because that's probably the biggest change so far.
Yeah.
That has been made.
Kubi shirt is in the techno realm.
You're enjoying this? See, like, I lean back a little bit and it's like not so bad, but God. It's a yellow shirt, guys, I swear.
Yellow.
It's like yellowish. Green.
Yellow on the
it's
green
kind of on the
screen
green screen. All right, well.
Well, so Game 1 went to BARRELBOYS, so it's a best of 3 series. So it's match point here for BARRELBOYS and BARRELBOYS. Words.
Difficult.
It's tough at times.
Yeah.
And we're going to Shire here for game number 2.
Yeah.
Now the draft is about to ban or begin, and we're about
They
to
do
start.
the bans.
So we're
Yep.
about to start
After
the
they
big
begin.
ban phase, and we're going to switch over to that screen as the teams are just about to begin this entire process.
Do we see the ban on Hasmodan again? Probably not. But who knows? Actually, Dragonshire? You could kind of do it on Dragonshire. I don't know. The only time I've actually seen it was on Blackhearts, right? But I don't recall what map they played Asmodan on. Temple Storm, of course.
Yeah.
Was it the semifinals of Kings of the Storm this past week?
Where we saw Asmo?
Yeah.
It was Blackhearts. It's the
Yeah,
only
we
game
saw. We casted
I don't
it on
know
Blackhearts.
beyond
Okay,
that. That's all I
didn't.
know is Blackhearts.
Okay.
Beyond that, I actually do not know. But
While
yeah.
we're waiting, guys, you should follow the channel here.
I want to know if they're AFK, because like,
Yeah, that's quite a bit of time to throw away on the.
yeah, you don't typically waste your ban or waste your bonus pool during the ban process. So this entire thing might need to restart. There might be
Yeah, that's a possibility.
an error or something. I'm not too sure.
All right, well, just hang tight, guys. We'll get you sorted in just a few. While we're waiting for that, you guys should follow the channel.
Okay, there we
ESL
go.
Heroes.
Yeah, ESL_Heroes. Follow this channel here. You can follow us on Twitter.
Yep. I'm at the Kubi. Jake, how about you?
Solid Jake, GG. Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, all around.
You have this look on your face. You're like, it's solid Jake GG, guys.
Not Jack Egg.
Not Jack Egg.
Not Jack Egg.
And wow, they're actually going for it. They're just like, no, we don't need that time. We can draft here. But we do see that first ban from Cloud9 Maelstrom there on Tassadar.
Yeah, so the first ban of Tassadar, pretty standard stuff. Tassadar having, he's like that Swiss Army knife here in Heroes of the Storm. He's got healing, he's got damage, he's got vision.
One of the more untouched heroes in this patch.
Wow.
So I would. What's that?
Asmo again.
There it is. They know something we don't.
Either they know something we don't, or they want to throw away bans to force out plays. Now,
It's kind of weird to do on second pick. That's what I was curious about, right? So they know something.
Here's what I'm curious about. Does McIntyre go for Kerrigan, even after the changes with Rewind?
They had the opportunity to do it last game. I think what I'm going to be interested in is, does he grab Zeratul?
But they had Stitches. Oh, Zeratul, yeah.
I think he's going to take
Zeratul's much more
here.
likely. Yeah, you're right. That makes more sense. Zeratul, of course. Now, Kerrigan lost Rewind entirely. They moved Rewind to level 20, and it's been removed from Kerrigan entirely. Zeratul, on the other hand, who we are
Vala?
seeing picked, Zeratul gained Rewind at 20. He never had it to begin with.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
now, you can get double bombs, Rewind, and double bomb. So you can go...
Not only that,
Bup, 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 bup,
but you can blink in, wormhole out, or you can blink in, double bombs, cleave, wormhole back, rewind,
do it
blink
again.
in. You can do the whole thing. So that's a lot of crazy mobility. There's a lot of potential for crazy plays with Zeratul.
Crazy
I don't think
high-level play, too.
High level, yeah. It's very difficult to execute those things. Okay, Nazebo's their pickup for their third pick here. Doesn't surprise me too much. I believe he was also not touched, except perhaps picking up a level 20 talent. I don't recall if he was in that list or not. That said, in terms of his basic functionality, he did have Rewind at 13, but it wasn't really the standard grab, right, at 13. More often than not, Nazebo players were going for that. They're taking sprint just for the extra mobility. That's really his only escape.
I mean,
more or less.
yeah, sprint, or even rarely we would see ice block, but sprint was the go-to, I would say.
Yeah.
We have seen rewind, but if you compare it to other heroes, it's, I mean, rewind zombie wall is nice. And rewind spiders is nice because more spiders is more terrifying, I suppose.
That is a way to look at it. If you already didn't like spiders, then more spiders is actually indeed more terrifying. Jake throwing the crazy formulas at you guys.
It's just knowledge, I know.
Just knowledge.
Really in-depth stuff here, guys. But the Asmo ban being weird continuously, but we're seeing Maelstrom actually pick up Rhaegar this game. So it's going to be the Rhaegar, Stitches, Uther. So we're looking at double support once again. Now, we've seen this style kind of rise in popularity a little bit over the last few weeks. And considering the map is Dragonshire, it's not surprising, but they're just going to go for like an invincibility kind of comp. So here's the thing, though. In this style, we would see damage dealers that have double health bars be played very frequently. Meaning, Archon kind of has the extra shielding, or the Odin has that second health bar. Well, the Odin doesn't have that second health bar anymore.
I'm actually still surprised that no one's grabbed him yet, though. You guys like throw your hands up like, oh no, they just butchered Odin into the ground. I think it's still going to be pretty useful. We'll see. We'll wait and we'll find out. But I don't know. Maybe Maelstrom will grab it as one of their damage picks. But as it is, BARRELBOYS has a pretty ridiculous damage lineup here, especially when you consider that I'm sure Max on Zeratul really knows how to get the maximum out of that character, and then Vala
maximum.
Kubi audibly exhales. Not pleased with that one. Not pleased.
You said it.
Yeah, I know. I'm not pleased with myself, and then you for pointing it out. So, all right, moving on. what do you want to see grab?
ETC. ETC. Now Diablo has been a little bit fixed, but I don't think it's something we're going to see right away. I think teams might play with Diablo. I still think he might need a bit of tuning. I played a few games with him today, and he feels better, sure. But I still think ETC is the way to go here. Now, Arth is still on the table, but honestly, I think teams are going to be more comfortable with ETC than the new Arthas in this stage, because getting used to tuning, Arthas's healing has been nerfed significantly, and getting used to that tuning takes time.
It does. It's true. You do need to log quite a few games. I'd say at least 20 to 30 to really have a good feel for it. So
yeah. But Malphas picked up as their support, and considering Rhaegar and Uther were picked up, I mean, that's probably the most logical option. Brightwing is not significantly worse, but on this map, roots are really strong. I've been talking about Malf on this map for a long time.
I think we're going to see Hammer, at the very least. That's what I was going to say. Oh, Raynor, but no, they both. I'm not going to say both teams agreed, but one of the teams has decided at the very least that they didn't want to play with Raynor. So no Raynor, of course, on the table.
Raynor and Vikings. Yeah, Raynors and Vikings are bad. Now, the new Thrall.
I say new. They took one talent away.
They took battle momentum away, and that's a big deal.
Right. But, I mean, they didn't change a whole lot. It's a big impact, but it's not like his kit has been reworked or anything like that. But
it just kind of limits his playstyles. The Wind Fury style has been nerfed significantly. It's still good.
Yeah.
But it's been nerfed significantly now. Of course, the synergy was with Wind Shear and battle momentum. Casting Wind Fury is 3 auto attacks. Battle momentum is based on reducing a cooldown on auto attacks. Yep. So he could reduce his cooldowns insanely fast. And no longer has that talent. But he's still a fine hero, especially with the level 20 talents they added to the game.
Okay. So we see Jaina grabbed. Let's see here. Yeah, I think they can definitely get away with Hammer.
It's got to be Hammer. It's got to be Hammer.
Who else could really? Nova did get rewind. That's the only reason that I'm throwing the possibility on the table. 5 seconds left.
5, yeah. It's got to be Hammer. Like, I can't.
Tychus. All right, I said it. I said that they might grab Tychus as one of their final damage dealers.
All right.
I'm absolutely okay with this. Honestly, though, Tychus and Hammer sort of fit the same role in a team fight now.
Yeah.
In terms of like where they're positioning themselves, they're both squishy. Like if they get picked off, it's a problem. I mean, obviously, but like their potential to get picked off is pretty similar. Well, I don't know. It's actually probably considerably easier for Tychus to get out because he does have a new dash ability on his Odin. So I guess this is a good time to talk about the Odin changes. Of course, used to be you got an entirely second full HP bar, right? You tap R.
You're almost dead. So people would be almost dead, and they tap R.
Tap R.
And it's a safety button.
Absolutely. But now, it's this. You're given the same HP pool, right? And but there's some. I'll just say general buffs, right? I don't think there were actually any nerfs.
Just before we talk about Tychus, we are seeing ETC as the final pick, and we're going to get going in a sec. But resume with Tychus, chatter.
Yes. So, all right. They gave him I think it's a 30% buff to his range, just his base range on his auto attacks while in Odin. That's already a big deal in itself. And on top of that, I think the Ragnarok missiles, I think that's what they're called. It's now not just hitting anything within a short AoE range around him. It's a targetable ability, but it slows as it hits too. So and then they gave him a dash ability too.
Right. So that's the Odin we're talking about here.
Yeah.
So the Odin shares Tychus' health bar. It's the same health bar. He doesn't get a new health bar. When the Odin dies, Tychus dies.
Sure.
But the Odin now has new utility: a slow and a dash. So effectively,
I think it's the range that's actually going to be the biggest deal because he can sit much further back in team fights.
So the auto attacks are weaker, but they shoot further and faster.
I don't think they're weaker.
I think they made them weaker. Okay. But they shoot further and faster.
I think that's okay. That's a fine trade. I want to say that the Q, the straight missile barrage that's fired down, I think that actually does a little bit more damage. I think it scales higher. So all those things point to definitely a different way to play Odin. So we're going to see how that's executed here right now. But before we get into any of that, let's get to introducing these teams. On the blue side for Cloud9 Maelstrom, we do have Dunk Train on Rhaegar. Biceps is going to be playing Tychus. iDream on Uther. K1 Pro on Jaina. And King Caffeine on Stitches.
Now, on the other side, we have the BARRELBOYS with Zeratul being played by McIntyre. Of course, Trumbull will be playing as Zebo, Blinks on Malfurion, Fan on Vala, and last but not least, is going to be Fury here playing as ETC with that beautiful Master Skin.
That beautiful, really?
It is Master Skin, right?
Oh, why didn't he take the gold one?
Goofy is so let down.
I am let down. That is such an amazing.
So here they are looking for this potential gank opportunity, and just my closing thoughts on Tychus. His base kit's amazing. He's still got self-sustain with first aid and stone skin, and I'm pretty sure you can actually use those while in Odin now. I haven't played him, but I saw someone else doing that, so I'm pretty sure you can pop first aid while being the Odin.
Okay, that's actually a big deal.
Makes it still very good. A big hook here on McIntyre. Yeah. And last but not least, it makes him a little bit more, I think Odin's stronger aggressively, just not defensively. And well, there's constant aggression happening in this match.
Yes, of course. Pretty standard talents. As long as no one dies here, we can talk about them real quick. I think for the most part, everything is fairly normal, with the exception of Trumbull. A little bit of trouble here.
Spot. Yeah, here, iDream there with that stun. The hook goes in, the grenade, and that is enough to pick up the kill. But iDream is in a terrible position as well. McIntyre, very low. Will they be able to turn this into a kill? The stun comes out from the Ghost, but he's able to blink over that wall. 1-for-1. Hook goes out, but no dice.
That would have been a pretty silly hook there. The one talent that I'm looking at is Jaina's, the extra increase on the slow. Now, K1 Pro had a very unique style of playing Jaina, right? That was sort of a little bit different from the gank style Jaina that we've seen. But this is the beginning of the gank style Jaina. Do you think perhaps the K1 Pro has decided to shift his perhaps philosophy on how Jaina should be played?
Yeah, it seems pretty likely based on this, but I mean, it's Jaina again. We talked about this every time we talk about Jaina. She has such a good, pool of talents that it's hard to say exactly what they're going to do because everything is relatively solid. But well, as we've seen Venom, yeah, that's definitely signaling to this gank style.
Yeah, very interesting indeed, of course. And we do have BARRELBOYS picking up their level 4 talents too. Let's take a look at those.
They pick up this kill on the Zebo in the bottom, nicely done by Biceps and K1 Pro. A lot of damage out of those two heroes. I mean, just looking at the charts here, we can already see they're both top of the game right now.
Yeah, and that is the second pick off on Nazebo there, of course. This early in the game, he has 0 ways to escape. I think the best bet you're looking at would be just to try to throw a zombie wall behind you as you run past it. But other than that, if you get hooked and the rest of your team isn't completely there to back you up, it's going to have a tough time getting out, especially against this kind of team here. So we're going to have to see a little bit better positioning there from the Nazebo, perhaps play a little bit safer, especially against this gank style.
Is that a new sound effect on Tychus' gun? Yo, Rainer's gun? I know you have.
No, I did. I
played it. Oh, you did play it. Oh,
yeah,
it sounds so good.
Yeah, they did change the sound of that a little bit. All right, let's talk about some of these level 4 talents. Oh yeah, that's right. Gathering Power was nerfed. They didn't even get a chance to talk about that a little bit. Just some slate number tweaks to it.
Actually, Zebo and Zeratul both lost Gathering Power.
Nope.
What? I thought they removed it. Oh,
No,
they just nerfed it. Okay, I'm actually just a moron. Just disregard me entirely.
Yeah, so now it starts at 5% and gets 2% up to a maximum of 15. Yes, okay, that's about right. For a total of 5 kills instead of 6 now. So base, it's just nerfed all over the place, essentially.
Okay.
The starting basic ability damage increase is lower, and the max ability is lower. So still probably a good talent to pick up, especially for these bursty type heroes, but noticeably less amount of DPS output. Jake is still enthralled by that.
I'm
noise
actually just loving it. Like, it's actually entrancing right now. I don't know what it is. All right, well, yeah, level 7 picked up here. Rolling at first aid, battle momentum, pretty standard stuff. We are actually seeing enduring growth, which has kind of fallen off the map. Eloon's Grace has become a little bit more popular, but if they're feeling they really need that sustain, there is no secondary kind of healer, no Tyrande, no Tassadar on this team. Feeling like he's going to be going a full-on heal style. So Conjurer's Protective Shield, that means we're going to see Tranquility and even probably Life Seed at level 13.
Yeah, actually Blinks, from what I recall, in the past has opted to go for this style of build. He did get Life Seed at 13, just a full heal Malfurion style. Interesting. It's probably very different from what we see the rest of the people in the meta are playing right now, which is like Eloon's Grace, like you were saying, etc. So we do see the upgraded damage increase on the chilled targets for Jaina. So once again, just following out that, I'm not going to say cookie cutter because, like you said, there's a ton of ways to build Jaina, but that seems to be a bit more standard now. And Trumbull's going to be in a bit of an interesting spot, but we do see that rotation coming up for the rest of BARRELBOYS here.
Well, with Zeratul coming down as well, this is actually quite scary for Cloud9. It looked like you know, a decent position there when they got that hook opportunity, but as soon as you have 4 versus 3, I mean, you got to back end off. That's exactly what we saw happen there. Looking at the Talons clones and with the pretty standard stuff, and we do see Earth Shield being picked up. Standard stuff across the board. I'm actually kind of surprised that we are seeing Farsight and not Feral Heart on this map, though.
Yeah, I guess there's not really anything super crazy position-wise, but we'll have to see how it's used out. I mean, maybe just to search for extra gank opportunities, although I will say that it is Cloud9 Maelstrom that's been putting the pressure on in terms of rotations, so maybe a little bit overkill, but I mean, I guess better safe than sorry in this case.
Yeah, I mean, knowledge is power, if you will. And you do have to consider that they do have that Zeratul, so.
Right. All right, for level 10, we just see that now grabbed for C9 Maelstrom. Have that ancestral healing. Oh, and a little bit of a pickup here once again on Trummel. Continuously finding himself just a little bit out of position against the C9 Maelstrom team here. They're doing a nice job just sort of rotating around and just picking him off. Like I said, he has those few escape options, especially until he gets to level 13. So why not abuse the situation if they're given the opportunity?
And that'll give them level 10, where they're going to be picking up Tranquility, Strafe, Ravenous Spirit, Void Prison, and Mosh Pit.
Yep, and on the Cloud9 Maelstrom side, we do have Ancestral Healing. Once again with that Odin, I told you guys it's not going anywhere. Cursed Fury is going to be in a little bit of a position. I don't think that probably going to be able, yeah, especially missing that Ice Lance there. I don't think it was going to kill him regardless. What else do we have? Divine Storm, Water Elemental, and Gorge.
Yeah, so pretty standard stuff across the board. Now, once again, about the Odin, we can't stress this enough. The Odin no longer has the second health bar available. It has a few new utilities. It has a slow with the W, which is targetable, and it has a dash forward. I'm pretty darn sure he still has access to First Aid and Stone Skin once you grab that. But we'll actually find out in action when it happens. But what you're going to see happen here is you're going to see the Odin use not in battle, but to enter battle. And while we do see Tranquility going down right away, this Dragon Knight was picked up on the side of Cloud9 Maelstrom.
Does he have the breath?
Is very low. He's got the
the breath. And that was so close. Yeah. And as you were saying, yeah, of course we do have that Dragon Knight picked up for Cloud9 Maelstrom. They're going to be able to do quite a bit of siege damage with this. Actually, we are post 5-minute mark at this point, so pushing in for a fort is certainly within the realm of possibilities.
That's exactly what they're doing. McIntyre taking a lot of damage to this breath in the front line, and that hook goes out onto Trummel.
No Gorge.
But not gonna, not gonna.
Oh, you already
follow up with Gorge. Okay, yeah, Gorge on cooldown. Singularity Spike goes out. Strafe gonna be used here. They're having a Spirit to try to pick up this kill. Will it be enough? It should be interrupted. No, not quite. Just picked up the kill after the well has been tapped. McIntyre gonna be able to blink on out at the last possible second. Biceps accidentally dashed into that Void Prison to safety here. Trummel gonna fall once again. Fury here has entered the battle just a little bit too late, and then Dragon Knight is still alive. Nope, gonna expire at the last second, taking out this wall.
Yeah, 2-for-1 situation in favor of Cloud9 Maelstrom, of course, but the fight sort of postponed things quite a bit, and they didn't end up grabbing any of the forts on their side. So yeah, they still have the experience lead, almost 2 levels at this point, so it's getting to be pretty significant, especially with that extra talent grabbed at level 13 for Cloud9 Maelstrom, which we can talk about right now. We do have the Feral Lunge for Rhaegar, Relentless on Stitches and Tychus, still pretty standard stuff, and then again Sprint and for Uther and Jaina, just for that extra escape. I imagine we'll see it on the Zebo as well.
In the patch notes, we did actually see that the Odin no longer gets the free Relentless.
That's true.
That was actually a bug that they hotfixed on the 22nd, but that is something that was once upon a time in the game. Now, picking up that Relentless, very key to giving that full mobility, especially when you're trying to aggress forward with the Odin here. And we can see these bruises have been picked up by Cloud9, and they want to push down at this very weak lower fort.
Yeah, bit of an unfortunate hook there for Caffeine. Almost never want to grab the Zeratul unless, of course, he's already used his blink, but in this situation he was able to blink out. And it's, oh, he almost had the opportunity to go for a pretty nice dance there. No dice, and I think we're going to see Maelstrom pick up the first fort of this game. 9 minutes in, but better late than never.
McIntyre is going to get hooked. The Divine Storm there to follow up.
Wow.
They're going to use that Gorge. The dance might be able to survive. We see the Odin being used in the back. Does McIntyre have Bolt of the Storm available? iDream getting healed by that. Oh my goodness, the healing on McIntyre is actually insane. He gets healed up so very quickly. Again, this is the one and only health bar of this Odin. You can see it used its dash forward there. He's walking on away. It does still have a timer. He's not in there permanently, and this Odin will eventually wear off. But you can see he's able to throw those abilities to try to zone. And, you know, I'm actually amazed at how well BARRELBOYS handled that.
I thought McIntyre was dead for sure. They chained all of those stunts together so nicely. We saw the hook, we saw the Hammer of Justice, and then following that up we had Divine Storm. Got gorged immediately after. It still wasn't enough damage to at least DPS through his first day that was popped, of course. And then as soon as he got out, threw down the right Void Prison, and that allowed them to chase forward.
Yeah, the immediate protective shield, too, just kept him alive. And they pick up a Dragon Knight for all this, because Cloud9 used so much to try to fight that, and they knew that they couldn't really be on the map.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, that's every heroic, actually, because the Odin is, of course, on cooldown. It's just a bit of a bug tooltip right there.
Yep.
Ancestral Healing and Divine Storm being the only things off cooldown at the moment, and they're going to have to use probably a good chunk of those to avoid taking any fort kills here. I think it's going to be inevitable, though.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. This Dragon Knight has another 40 seconds remaining on its life, and it's just going to keep on pushing on in. Every single member has aggression available. Strafe coming off cooldown. Looks like Ravenous Spirit is available as well on the side of BARRELBOYS. The hook goes out, getting just a lowly minion. And knowing that 16 seconds are still on the table here before they have to worry about another hook.
Yep. I mean, while it really looks like, oh, McIntyre just barely escaping the situation, I think. Yeah, he was vulnerable for a hook there.
If the Root had managed to catch him, actually,
still got him, and that's going to do it.
Wow, the VP is there, and he goes into the belly of Stitches. Even though the VP went down, a very weird situation. The punt out, trying to keep him alive. McIntyre, does he have Bolt? No, no Bolt is available here. Dance is going to pick up just King Caffeine. Ancestral Healing will be used on Duncan himself. iDream getting hit by that zombie wall, and they need to just back on out as it is a 4v5 situation. Oh my goodness, that hook from downtown, and that's going to be a sack lunch from Malfi.
Sack lunch. Yeah, really nice hooks coming out of King Caffeine here. We can see that the power. We saw Biceps dashing forward in that Odin. That was like kind of interesting to look at. I was like, oh, that's what it looks like. I'm not used to seeing that type of thing. Usually if the Odin's moving that fast, he gets hooked or something of that nature. But that's the power. He's able to chase forward now, capitalize on more kills in an offensive nature. Fun stuff.
Fishing Hook, such a powerful talent, having that level 16 advantage at 17 to 15 right now. Those talents are just giving them so much aggression. We see that Numbing Blast was picked up by Jaina. That's going to be a root on her E, the Cone of Cold. And that's another thing they have to worry about getting locked down by.
Yeah, it absolutely changes how BARRELBOYS has to play against Stitches when he gets that extra 50%. Yeah, the cooldown's 2 seconds longer, but it still functions in very much the same way. Slaps the hook into the fort to get the extra little bit of damage just to make sure they get that kill. I think it was a win-win situation for him, right? He either hits the fort or he grabs somebody into not quite a gorge, of course. Another about 5 seconds to get off cooldown, but dude,
style points, maximum style points for that.
Points for sure.
Absolutely beautiful.
And we do finally have level 16 for BARRELBOYS here. That is going to be the double Singularity Spike for Zeratul, Specialized Toxin on Zebo, Blood for Blood on Vala, Tenacious Roots from Malfurion, and of course Stone Skin on ETC.
Yeah, so it is the full-on heal build, and Tenacious Roots or Hindering Moonfire are the talents you go for at level 16. opting for the roots in this scenario. And the hook goes out, picking off Fan. That's going to be a Gorge, and this should be a kill. It's going to be near impossible.
Yeah.
Even with a nice protective shield, Strafe is going to be used here, and just one grenade to finish off Fan. Not even needed. And although the VP was there, well, now Fury's in a bad spot. He's going to be forced. Did he use his dance there? He did not. Dance is actually going to be just coming off cooldown right now.
Yeah, so, I mean, they trying to think about ways that the BARRELBOYS can sort of come back into this situation here. Maelstrom has been doing a really good job with these picks. Once again, we do see that grab on King Caffeine, of course. I don't think there's going to be a follow-up here that'll put K1Pro at huge risk, and it does, actually.
Wow, so it goes from being a beautiful route to just being turned into a disaster where they are going to lose 2 heroes here. Oh, the grenade and the Ancestral, maybe not. Can they turn this around? Nazeebo was spent using that Ravenous, stuck far in the back. Idrian throws down a big Divine Storm. Blinks gets hooked away with that Tranquility, and he will end up falling. One more hit, Idrian will fall. It's 3v3 presently on this game. Respawn timers have gone off. Vala is back into the game and making her way over into the battle. Dunk Train, super low. Throws on the healing ward. The zombie wall not going to be enough to lock him down here. And the roots. Oh, the hook goes out. Not Mac. Gonna live to see another day. But where's Vala during all this? Going to the top shrine.
Yeah, that's an interesting play. I think perhaps they've sort of left Fury for dead here. Actually, not the case. I thought perhaps the DPS on the Odin just wanted to make sure that they canceled. In case Fury did die, they didn't want to at least give up the Dragon Knight in that situation. So I guess pretty nice heads-up play there. We did end up seeing ETC live in that situation, and King Caffeine is very much out of position. I think he's going to get blown up here.
I don't think he realized there were going to be 3 members rotating to the top here, even with Dunk Train there, and Sister Healing is off cooldown. There it goes on King Caffeine at the last possible second. Dance was used 1 for 1 in terms of heroics. Gorge is presently available, and that could lock down Curse Fury if the hook hits something.
Nice
no. Nicely dodged by both teams. Dunk Train in the backline is going to be caught off by the... Goes into the board, doesn't... Curse Fury will fall here. Oh no, he has to dash the last possible second. McIntyre gonna lose his life though, and it's presently 4v5 in favor of Maelstrom.
That's... Oh, I thought that was gonna be a kill for Shire. Fury is just... He has no qualms about dashing in when he has, less than 10% HP. Always seems to find his way out of these sticky situations. So, very nice ETC play, of course, coming out of Fury there. And, yeah, nice pick up there from Maelstrom. They are continuing to hold that lead. They're just a little bit away from those coveted level 20 talents. And that is another Dragon Knight for C9 Maelstrom here. Of course, they're going to be able to push in pretty hard. The safe play here would be, of course, to rotate up to top lane, take that fort, and then push against this wall. We'll have to see what they do. It looks as though, while they have this hero advantage, it makes a lot of sense to them to put some pressure on. But they're not getting much team support. And
yeah,
that's going to be a Dragon Knight that dies very quickly.
An interesting choice here. Stitch has decided he wanted to be topped off. They decided, hey, look, we're just going to wait for a team fight. And that's Jaina. Now, she has Strafe, so she should be fine. Throws down that Numbing Blast. Actually, I don't think she even managed to hit Fan with that, which is quite interesting. But getting healed up right quick here by Eldraine.
Yeah, having to throw down that sprint, though, and then throwing the Dragon Knight away completely, not really... I can't imagine that's what they really wanted to do. I think it was probably a bit of miscommunication there. Really... even if you want to wait for the rest of your team members to get healed up, yeah, just sit back and then use the last 30 to 45 seconds of it to do some actual pressure. As it stood, he basically just marched into the wall, didn't get any progress done, died immediately to BARRELBOYS' pressure. Yeah. And that was the end of the Dragon Knight.
That's a great point. And it looks like teams are actually going to opt to be potentially trading here. The second that these members show here for Maelstrom, it looks like we're going to be seeing an aggressive Bruiser camp picked up here on the side of BARRELBOYS. These Bruisers will fall very quickly, and Maelstrom has to be saying, hey, where are they? Well, they see that being camped, they're going to be like, all right, well, that stinks. Let's just pick up these Bruisers. And then they have already hearthed, and looks like they're not going to have the hearth back.
Maelstrom gets the better end of that trade for sure, because I think they were expecting that Maelstrom would put a lot of pressure on with the present camp. And they said, oh, okay, we're not actually going to rotate back up to defend this, so we'll just continue taking more map risks. It's exactly what they think is the right call.
And now they've got a push here with Bruisers. Now those top Bruisers might be able to take out that keep with the with the minions. But yeah, Maelstrom is going to be posturing. They're looking for a hook. This angle with the hook will absolutely put you in a terrible position.
Level 20 was just picked up, so that does allow for the option of Blink Hook or, Gorge into Blink, either one. We do see that Storm Shield on Rhaegar. Blink also picked up on Jaina and Tychus as well for that extra mobility. And then, of course, the increased range and cooldown on Divine Hurricane. No fun talents taken today. Just the standard good stuff, to apply for that extra mobility and just overall safeness of those heroes.
Now they're pinging here, saying, hey, look, care. Stitches might try to hook you from there. Stitches is going to hook from a normal position here, getting that first stun out onto McIntyre. McIntyre is able to blink on out. No Gorge going down.
Yeah, I think they had the opportunity to, but I don't know. I guess they just didn't feel like the situation was right. They are up, in that extra talent here, which, at the very least is, a lot of sustain when you consider the Storm Shield going down. Another hook going down, and this time onto Trouble, and they're absolutely going to go for it. But I like the idea of the VP here.
Yeah, that VP will actually absolutely stall that out. The dance goes off, but is interrupted very quickly. Very early use there of the insistent healing. Kind of preemptive. Trouble should end up falling here, though. Not able to stay alive, being too far forward from that earlier hook. We see so much healing coming out. That level 20 talent, the Storm Shield being used to keep them with that extra sustain. The Water Elemental will fall here. A nice attempt there with the rooting. Now again, that is a slow. When you see that big AoE barrage coming out of the Odin, that is a slow.
Yeah, and he's just, oh god, it has so much reach on it and a ton of AoE range as well. And it did quite a bit in that fight. They were able to pick up the kill on Zebo despite the VP that went down to attempt to save his life, of course. This push, while it is a Merc camp, it will die fairly quickly to that keep. And I think we're just going to see, C9 Maelstrom is going to back up, and they're going to take a very safe Dragon Knight here for a lot of pressure.
Yeah, I mean, they just throw K1 Pro back to defend here. We have Tychus here picking up the Dragon Knight here. Another Dragon Knight. This one likely won't get thrown away like the others. Strafe being used, trying to pick up Idream, but the healing and the well will keep him relatively healthy, using Divine Hurricane to make sure that he's safe. Pierce Hurry gets hit by the hook, but just gets clipped by that keep, and he will be able to back on out of here, and this Dragon Knight is making its way out over.
Yeah, a bit of a defensive giant in this situation. I think they weren't expecting BARRELBOYS to be quite so aggressive. Looking for a situation to get another hook, and they are going to grab Fury here, and it's going to be very, very difficult for BARRELBOYS to get him out of here.
All they have is this dance and potentially a Ravenous Spirit. Where is that Ravenous? It is nowhere to be found. McIntyre is getting very low. Trumbull has just shown up to the fight. One punt will kill McIntyre, but the Gorge will actually secure that kill, and Blinks will fall as well. That's 3 down.
That's going to do it, I think.
Still 40 seconds on this Dragon Knight, yeah.
Yeah. That was actually, the Water Elemental did so much work in that team fight. They were thinking they had a nice situation, especially with that dance. Oh, the hook from Gorge, the Trumbull there, forcing him to use the sprint. No longer has that safe option and has to just poke from much further away than he would like to. This is absolutely going to be a game number 3. We have that 1-1.
Yeah.
As C9 Maelstrom here ties the series up. And it's going to be very interesting to see what heroes and maps we see coming out of both these teams here for game number 3.
Just they dominated. They got the hooks constantly throughout that game, and they kept a nice level advantage. They had 20 for what, 2 team fights there, where BARRELBOYS did not.
20 was absolutely spelling a lot of those stories in terms of kills there for Maelstrom in those past fights, and yeah, did a lot of work. I will say that did a lot of work.
Well, well played here, and Stitch is showing that he still has a lot of power. But
yeah, those hooks were. I don't know how often did he miss, especially in the last 10 minutes of that game.
Right.
I don't even know if he really missed any, other than the one that he just used to kill the fort.
That was cheeky too.
His hooks were on point, and it showed. They kept an advantage, especially from level 13 onward. They had almost a level lead the entire time. So kudos to Maelstrom there, some solid play. We're going to game number 3.
Yeah. I just want to say though, if any of you doubted Tychus, shame on you, because Odin looked just as terrifying as ever. He's easier to kill, sure, but boy does he hurt.
Yeah, that extra range too. It's no joke. All right, I think we're gonna get that lobby set up for game number 3. So you guys stick around. We'll be back in just about 5 minutes.
All right, guys, welcome back to the ESL Major League. I'm Solid Jake.
And I'm Kubi.
And we're going Game 3 here.
Yes, we are. It's been a close series so far. A lot of exciting games. First map was on Cursed and then Dragonshire. So we'll have to see Jake production things. Yeah, but I don't know what the map is just yet. But let's take a look to see if there's any updates on that. Nothing yet. So we'll have to wait and see. So, what'd you think of that last game?
I mean, the power of Stitches, like, it just flat out. Hooks were ruining kids and just pulling them in, blowing them up, winning fights, getting that advantage in levels, and holding that advantage. And is that real?
That is. I would assume that's real.
The salty run back?
Dragonshire.
The salty
run
back on Durganshire.
And we were invited to host this game, so Kubi's gonna have to do some hosting things.
That's all you, boy.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So I mean, we saw the power of Tychus still is there. The Odin, although changed, still a formidable heroic that teams do have to watch out for. We're getting our lobby set up here by Sir Kubi, and I mean, overall, I was really happy with that game. It was well done. I mean, Maelstrom. They're a newer squad, like they're 5-stack at least, because they brought K1 Pro and iDream over from Vortex to fill in as Zuna and Kenma are no longer with this squad. So this new team we saw last week, well, they lost 2-0 if I'm not mistaken.
Maelstrom?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they did.
I think they lost 2-0. I forget who they faced. Was it Murlocs?
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that, though.
I think it was Murlocs they played against, and I think they lost 2-0. Of course, all the results and stuff should be on the Play.ESL Heroes Play.ESL Gaming.
I believe they are, and they are updated.
We're making the worst plugs right now. Let me get the actual website here. This is actually just horrendous.
And while we do that, you guys should follow the channel, of course, at twitch.tv/ESL_Heroes. You guys can check out all of our casts for ESL and also EU's casts as well earlier on in the day.
Yeah.
Fun stuff there. And lobby is almost set up.
Very good. So I'm just going to confirm everything. These are the standings. If you go to play.eslgaming.com/Heroes of the Storm/Americas, you'll find everything here. You don't even have to do the /Americas if you don't want to. That'll get you to where you need to go, and you can find the ESL Major League 2015 Season 1. And in that, we have the standings. And last week, Tempo Storm won their series 2-0. BARRELBOYS won their series 2-0. Murlocs Inc. 2-0. And Team Heroes Type 2-0. And if I'm not mistaken, last week, I'm just going to confirm that it was, in fact, Maelstrom versus... they played Tempo Storm. That was our first game. How could we forget? How could we forget? Such an iconic rivalry.
That is true. That is true. All right. I think that they are about to start the draft in just a second here. Both teams are ready, and we are going to get into that just a second on Dragonshire.
Dargan.
You try to get it wrong, but you get it wrong.
It's the worst.
It's very upsetting. Dargan.
Scrub City. Well, we do see that the meta has shifted so greatly that we have triple Asmodee ban here out of BARRELBOYS. Now this means two things. Either they know something we don't know.
They definitely know something we don't know. And a very likelihood that they have perhaps scrimmed against Maelstrom at some point this week, and their Asmodee B-ball Duncan strategy is too good, and they don't feel like dealing with it. Maybe they just really hate how it changes the game, how it's played, etc. It could be a whole host of reasons, but whichever one of those it is, they don't feel like dealing with it, and they're going to ban it out.
Asmo don't, says the BARRELBOYS. And, well, we're waiting to get our lobby set up here in the game, but the draft is underway. We have the Stitches band coming out here for Maelstrom, knowing that first pick is available by BARRELBOYS. And they're saying, look, we had Stitches last game, but we're not going to give him to you because we know how powerful it is. So they opt to ban him out, and first pick goes on Tassadar for the BARRELBOYS.
Yes. So that is, of course, the one of the big strategies, of course, with those quote-unquote throwaway bans, force the other team to ban out the, quote-unquote broken hero or just that top-tier pick that you don't feel like dealing with. This case being, of course, Stitches. And then allows you to not have to deal with him, and then, of course, get your own first pick. So, all right, let's look forward to Maelstrom's first picks here. And they said, hey, Tychus worked out super nice in that last game, and why don't we move forward and grab him first? now the Barrel Boys have seen the power of the Odin, the new Odin. It's fun stuff, so they're going to grab him early, and they're going to take Rhaegar again.
Yeah. Rhaegar, you know what? And I've been beating this over the head with a stick for the last few weeks, but what did I say about Rhaegar? He is amazing. And teams, they disrespected me by not playing him enough.
They disrespected you specifically.
They disrespected me. They disrespected me for not playing enough Rhaegar. But here he is, being a boss. Now, when you see Rhaegar Tychus, yeah, in theory, Bloodlust is a thing. But if your Odin doesn't have a second health bar, you just give it one with Ancestral.
If it comes down to that.
Hey?
If you're playing the Odin correctly, he should be, sitting in the far back lines, right? Sitting behind the rest of the heroes. Perhaps where Sergeant Hammer would be, and you won't even need it. He's got the dash if he needs to get out of the situation. It's a lot differently played than how we're used to seeing Odin. So following that up from that Tychus and Rhaegar pick on Maelstrom's side, we see Barrel Boys grabbing Uther and Mouth. They're going for that double healer. Fun. I'll call it fun.
Fun. Very defensive style play here. This Tassadar is going to be near impossible to kill with Prescience and just Dimensional Shift, and then you have double healer. On top of that, we'll see what they grab. I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen Arthas, but even though, like we said, it takes a bit of time to get used to the tuning. Of someone like they nerfed his ghouls from like 150 healing to like 110 healing.
Yeah, it's a pretty significant change.
Yeah,
I think teams are, at least for tonight, they're going to opt to go for the safer picks, and they're going to probably end up grabbing, especially if Stitches is banned out. I think ETC and Muradin will be probably the only two warriors that we're going to see picked up. I could be proven wrong here, of course. But so, Barrel Boys have opted to go for this double healer strategy. Essentially what they're doing is they're challenging Maelstrom to come up with some kind of strategy to outburst the healing. They say, all right, we're going to just keep everyone alive and out-sustain you in these team fights. If you can't come up with a burst to deal with us, you're going to lose. So you either also take double healer, which is certainly possible, or they're going to try to come up with a way to out-DPS that heals.
Yeah, it's definitely a thing. And, well, we're seeing Big Red or Little Red and Big Blue, as I like to call them now.
Once again.
I'm stuck on that. And that's a lot of damage output, of course.
It is.
And they could pick Ravenous here if they want to go for that, or they can opt for something more bursty like McIntyre's Zeratul. Excuse me, this is Maelstrom. So it wouldn't be McIntyre's Zeratul, but they do have a very strong Zeratul. Dunk Train is known for playing a bit of Nova.
Sure.
And they do also play a mean Jaina here by Maelstrom.
That's a very good point. Yeah, they do have some options available to them. I'm leaning towards... Okay, I didn't expect them to grab the warrior so early. Actually, I think between the two, Muradin and ETC, I would give the edge to ETC, which is crazy to think about. That like, oh, if Stitches is banned out, you gotta grab ETC, right? That's standard. But times have changed, Jake.
Times have certainly changed, Gooby, and it's good though. It's exciting. It's exciting stuff we're seeing here, and the double support meta is definitely weird, but with this, they're going to leave that last slot open. Now, they have 3 real choices, in my opinion. Jaina, Hammer, and Nazebo. Now, of course, this all will be based on what Barrel Boys does not pick up, but as the final slot for Maelstrom, all 3 of those damages would do pretty nicely.
Yeah.
But I think Barrel Boys here, well, they're looking for damage. They're going to pick up Muradin for the invincibility, and do they go for Hammer for the poke and prod? And by invincibility, I mean you're looking at a tanky dude with 2 healers. That's three supports technically.
Absolutely. Yeah, they do go for Hammer here.
Okay,
so it's going to be a very sustained style team fight. All of their fights are just going to be, all right, we'll throw Muradin in the front a little bit. You have to sort of eventually deal with Hammer. A lot of this is going to be sort of protect the Hammer. I imagine we'll see a very similar build to what iDream played game 1, where it goes for that maybe first strike or giant killer, depending on how they're feeling. But Hover Siege into the range upgrade at level 20, the attack speed. Got a nice range, got that Napalm Strike. You eventually have to go in and kill the Hammer. And trying to cut through the double heals with Muradin not dying ever, and then Tassadar, who's also going to be impossible to kill.
And Roots and Divine Storms.
And multiple healing wards.
Good.
It's going to be fun. So this is basically a Protect the Hammer comp. And on Dragon Shire, what better map to do this on? I'm surprised they actually didn't grab Hammer earlier, if that's what their intention was. I'm not sure who they would have picked had Hammer been taken away.
It's interesting, yeah. I mean, In theory, maybe this works with Nazebo, okay.
Yeah, I guess
but that
that's
could
true.
be shut down by something like Tyrael. And Judgment, boys.
Judgment, boys. I don't know if anyone's going to be playing Tyrael anytime soon.
Of course, Cast Aside being removed from the hero is a significant nerf.
Absolutely.
Zeratul. It's going to be Zeratul.
Okay.
So they're going for that burst. They know they need burst. And if anyone has burst, it's Zeratul. Vala will likely pick up Strafe here to go for that maximum damage. The only interrupts are, well, you have several actually when I think about it more. Uther having 2, Murden having several, and Hammer having the singular Bullhead Mine, which has become less common.
Concussive Blast.
And Concussive Blast.
Yeah. Although you don't really want to be that close to whatever, but
you're not going to boost forward too frequently to Concussive Blast a strafing Vala. It's a unoptimal scenario most of the time.
It is true. Oh, did I mess the teams up? Yeah, I did. Gotta swap out one person here.
It's going to be
trouble
for iDream.
All right, so we do have, of course, that Protect the Hammer style comp. Now, what do we see for Maelstrom's side of things to either out DPS or to get to the hammer to kill?
They're just going to have to really blow people up, and honestly, I think the new level 20 talents could change the name of the game here. The additional damage you can pick up at level 20, I think a lot of it's going to come down to just solid play, staying even, getting to 20, getting that additional damage that was provided with the new level 20 talents, and then powering through.
That is a very good point. And I think we see that both teams are just about ready. We're going to get started.
Guys, I hope you're ready.
Yeah, this is a big one. This is a big one. These two teams are very, very evenly matched.
Why are you so much taller?
I didn't do anything. Look at my fancy shirt. It's so sparkly.
So esports. So esports.
Yep.
Durgan, Shire, Dargan. Not Durgan. Dargan. Shire, Game 3. This is match point here for today's first match between the BARRELBOYS and Maelstrom. And we're going to get going here, guys. Let us introduce our teams.
All right, for the blue side on BARRELBOYS, we have McIntyre on Malfurion. Fury's going to be playing Muradin. Blinks on Uther. Trumbull will be playing Sergeant Hammer. And Fan will be playing Tassadar.
And on the other side of the map, in the red trunks, we do have Rhaegar being played here by Dunk Train. King Captain will be playing as ETC. iDream on Zeratul. It's going to be K1 Pro playing as Vala, and Biceps on Tychus himself, Mr. Finley. Finley or Finley?
Tychus Finley.
Finn or Finn. I
didn't really answer your question, did
No.
I? It's like I couldn't hear it regardless.
We're getting wrecked. Well, we're going to look at the talents here. Level 1 looking pretty standard so far here, except Rancor.
Yes.
This could be... Okay, well, we talked about single target blowing people up. And the Rancor leans to that. Multi-shot build, obviously not single target. That's AoE.
Right.
And since they need to focus on blowing someone up, this makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and I mean, we also see perhaps the possibility of going to a full overkill style, and we do have this 4-man versus 4-man middle lane here, which is a bit of a strange thing. Of course, both the tanks are opting to fight in that top lane, and this seems to be a bit of a stalemate. Neither team really wanted to commit too much, and I'm surprised that they're foregoing all of this, even considering that there's experience being lost in the bottom lane. Very unusual.
Yeah, very, very strange choices there indeed, and Blinks realized he might be in a bit of trouble, so Blinks opted to go back and around. And, you know, Kubi, I was reading the patch notes, and this is actually what I'm most excited about right now. I thought it read the visual changes to the Medic Uther skin, and I just want to see him throw a heal out. I just want to see if it's green. Oh, there it is! All right, take my money. Take my money. Lumberjack Uther doesn't throw wood, so I have no use for it anymore.
All right, so yeah, let's talk about some of those level 1 talents. Oh, perhaps we're going to have a bit of a scuffle here. Of course, as soon as I go to talk about talents, they're going to be opting to conquer territory here. And we do see both shrines have opted to go for, that would be C9 Maelstrom. They always like to switch sides on me and confuse me. I don't think they're going to be able to cap a very early Dragon Knight here, as Fan is arguably the better laner here and should be able to keep K1 Pro shoved out, unless there is a nice solid rotation here. iDream's not going to be able to get the kill, of course, but having the two heroes up in this lane can prove to be a bit of a problem for BARRELBOYS.
Yeah, Dunk's trying to stall this out as long as he possibly can. Will it actually be enough? San is doing a really good job. Dunk does lose his life for his stalling tactics, and no Dragon Knight will be picked up here.
Yep, nicely done defending there from BARRELBOYS, and that will get them level 4, of course. didn't get a chance to talk about those level 1 talents.
Oh.
All right, so we see the healing ward picked up, and because they have the healing ward on Malfurion,
Almost enough with the singularity spike, but the dimensional shift
what is that thing sticking out of? Oh, it had a
That's
weird
the singularity spike, yeah.
Oh, really?
That's
cool.
out, yeah.
Okay, yeah, since we do have healing ward on Malfurion, we don't need it. I guess you don't really necessarily have to grab it on Tassadar, so he's going to go with Mental Acuity. That is the cooldown reduction on the Oracle. That'll be pretty nice, handy thing to have, especially against iDream with that, that stealth that will reveal him. Full auto attack build here from Sergeant Hammer, no surprises there. Bit more of a bursty Uther, I guess, although that's a pretty standard grab at level 4 for Uther. On the C9 Maelstrom side of things, we do have the Healing Totem and, of course, Farsight once again grabbed. We talked about the the potential for that. Yeah, why would you grab that over Feral Heart? Just seems as though the teams would prefer to have that extra vision.
And they're getting constant use out of it here. I mean, they're just throwing it down, seeing what's going on, making sure nothing cheeky's happening, and it's just like a nice, safe play. Well, a lot of aggro here in the middle, Fan under a lot of aggression, and he's going to get hit pretty hard, but he will end up surviving that onslaught.
Actually, really not. I'm thinking more about it, especially against the Hammer, the Farsight, with those lines that could possibly be stacked up in those bushes.
Good point.
Gives you vision of that. So, something to think about. I was thinking perhaps we would see a full overkill build from Tychus this game, but no, not the case. We are going to have that melting point grenade that does the extra damage to structures and minions, of course. Gathering power. We didn't get a chance to talk about iDreams on Zeratul, his level 1, but he did go with Greater Cleave. And we've been seeing Zeratul's more often than not go for block level 1, just for that extra survivability. But here he wants that range. Did end up going with First Aid at level 7. There's that full auto attack build from Vala, which I imagine it points to level 20. We're going to see that range and attack speed upgrade. It'll be cool to see how that level 20 tweaks the viability of the auto attack Vala.
Yeah, she's thinking about level 7 here. I mean, typically it's battle momentum.
I don't see why you wouldn't still get battle momentum. I think that's just he hasn't picked it up yet or hasn't had a chance yet.
We're going to find out here. King Caffeine is going to
get
get that top
attacks. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I completely forgot.
Yeah,
that
was
searing attacks was an option there.
So again, this is that burst. They're going for that single target burst. When you have Manticore and of course Rancor here, you throw searing attacks on, and suddenly you hit like a truck.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's probably going to be paired up with the Giant Killer, level 13. Oh, and Junk Train caught into a little bit of roots here. Should be able to get out, no problem. Does have to throw that healing ward down, which will be appropriately dealt with by Trummel's Sergeant Hammer. K1 Pro holding that middle lane pretty solid.
I mean, I'm surprised Tassadar managed to die versus Vala, but I don't think he expected that single target damage. And
no way. Wow.
Almost enough. If one more hit on the Hungering Arrow would have been enough to get that kill. iDream and King Caffeine are really putting some pressure on this top fort. And I mean, this is level 10 is going to be hit first, and everything is really looking good for Maelstrom at this point in time.
Yeah, I don't see why they shouldn't be able to continue pressuring. Especially with the heal on ETC, but it's not the case. They actually back up. Zeratul still pushing up from the top lane. Trummel has now sieged up against this bottom lane here, just trying to get that extra experience so they can catch up versus C9 Maelstrom, of course, which has those heroics at level 10. We do see that stage dive on ETC, so opting to go for that global presence, of course, and Dunk Train coming down here for the rotation.
Well, there's that stage dive. You mentioned that Trummel is in a terrible position. He pops his healing ward to try the first aid to try to stay alive. There's a healing ward coming out of Dunk Train, or excuse me, McIntyre's healing ward. Dunk Train in the front lines, though. They managed to pick off Trummel there, who is on Sergeant Hammer, and the shrines will slowly be traded. During all of this, Curse Fury was not there. The stage dive completely throwing that out of balance.
Yeah, and I gotta say, C9 Maelstrom is looking very solid here with their, even though the kill count is still pretty low, they're doing a good job holding this lead, and I think that they've had more total time on these shrines captured, so I think eventually that will point towards them getting a Dragon Knight. We do see that the ETC and Murden are fighting out for that top one right now. Dunk Train will try to hold this as long as possible with biceps, and they should be able to shove them off. Yes, they do.
Yeah, as they shove them off, they will control both shrines here. ETC is making his way to the middle to try to make that happen, but Tassadar is unmounted and on his way. He's going to be a little bit late to the party. He might just barely make it. King Caffeine realizes that Tassadar is there and backs on up off the shrine. Presently, Fury is getting really bullied up by iDream, but the bottom tower has been taken here by BARRELBOYS.
Yeah. And quite a bit of pressure now being applied mid lane from C9 Maelstrom here, just trying to bully Fan out of the situation, and then they're going to opt to rotate back down to the bottom lane. As we do see that Sergeant Hammer has been sieged up, appropriately backing up at the right time when his hammer senses are tingling.
Hammer senses tingling. Well, taking a look at the heroics here, just across the board, pretty standard stuff. Divine Storm, we do see the Avatar, the Tranquility, the Napalm Strike, and the Archon. And on the flip side,
yes, we have the Ancestral Healing, the Odin, Void Prison, Strafe, and of course that stage dive that we saw in that last game. That's probably the only one that's a bit of a different pick. Who's is that ETC? It's gotta be, right?
I can't talk. I can't talk. What was that?
Okay. All right, keep it together here.
Oh my goodness, Blizzard, you make this difficult for us. Now, there are some new sound clips that were added into this patch. I don't know if that one's new, but I certainly have never heard it before, and I love every minute of it. I know Diablo has a new growl. Now, iDream trying to cap this Dragon at the Side Storm. They're trying to stall him out for a little while, but it's not going to be enough. Dragonite is picked up as they do try to scramble to capture this bottom shrine.
Yep.
Is this the first Dragonite of the game? I believe it is.
That is the first Dragonite of the game. Going to C9 Maelstrom here. A lot of back and forth battling, but like I said, they have been doing a very nice job holding those shrines. They've had them for a considerable longer amount of time, so of course that would point towards them probably grabbing that first one. And we do see that Giant Killer at level 13 for Vala here. Uber Rockstar on ETC for the extra movement speed for the rest of his team that's nearby. Wormhole, of course, on Zeratul, Relentless, and Feral Lunge on Rhaegar.
And yeah, we do see Giant Killer also on Hammer, so this is actually that style of Giant Killer. Likely we'll see graduating range picked up at the next level, but or
probably Hover Siege.
Yeah, either or. Depends on how they're feeling, but they do have that hyper protect the hammer kind of composition, so both can work. On this map, though, you're probably right with Hover Siege being the more likely option here.
iDream looking in the bottom lane here does find Trouble, actually, who probably saw him before iDream saw him, and forces them to back up. And other than that first fort that was taken from C9 Maelstrom early on in the game, they didn't actually get too much done with that Dragonite.
Yeah, you're right, you're right. And they do have a significant advantage here in levels. They are just about a level ahead, and it might not seem like a lot, but it makes a big difference here in Heroes of the Storm, as it is team-based leveling. Now, we do see... Now, this is actually really interesting.
I was fixing my eyebrows here, just trying to see what was going on with the Scryer talent, which is... it is a 3-second 20% increase of movement speed for Tassadar. Also gives him 3 more seconds, so he's going to have that off cooldown and active very often. Yep. Whether you want to give up either Shrink Ray or Prescience in that situation, depends on how you want to look at it. I'll have to see how often he's caught out of position in this sense, but cool pick. Haven't seen it too often.
Yeah, it's definitely refreshing to see new talents being picked up here. Now, iDream is going to be scouted by the Oracle fan, using that Oracle again and again, and having those talents there to make it more effective and being able to use it more often. Going to constantly spot iDream when he's trying to do something cheeky. Just the two of them here trying to pose a threat to keep them on their toes, but they should know that the bottom lane is being pressured heavily by the other members of Cloud9.
Yep. And if you guys are worried about Zeratul perhaps stealing that camp with the Void Prison, no longer possible. It actually does, as a change in this last patch, is that it does stall out the capture of those camps. And Biceps definitely caught out of position here. We see ETC stage diving in.
Yeah, this is a 5v5 scenario. The Odin will be used, but Tranquility has been popped already. Device from going off. A big Archon is available here, and we see Archon v Odin action going on here in the bottom. The sprint forward by Blinks. Does he catch anything? He gets the stun there. Again, if the Odin dies, Tychus dies with it. But this Void Prison is massive.
Yeah, the fact that there's no level 16 here for BARRELBOYS means they do need to be a little bit more cautious, even if it looks like they have the positional advantage on C9 Maelstrom here. And it looks like they're going to perhaps at least use this position to put a little bit of pressure onto this bottom lane. We're going to see this opportunity for C9 Maelstrom to spread out across the rest of the map. They're going to take that top shrine and then perhaps rotate back down to capitalize on the bottom.
Yeah, well, BARRELBOYS will get a fort out of this.
Yeah.
And like you said, the top shrine has been taken by ETC right now. So if they're not careful, we see Zeratul making his way to the bottom shrine.
Oh, that is a problem.
ETC is lining himself up in the middle here. And this could be, this is absolutely going to be a stolen dragon. They should realize that the two members are missing. And during all of this, yes, they're going to get some aggression. But they're paying for it with a Dragonite.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that. I mean, when you look at what they traded, wow, iDream just gets out completely unscathed, walks through the entirety of the enemy team here. And Cursed Fury is going to be in a little bit of a tricky situation. Dragonite behind them and booting the hammer to the other side. That was such a good heads-up play.
Trummel will melt here as that punt put him completely out of position, and quick disconnect there. It looks like his computer might have frozen up for a minute. Maybe he slammed his keyboard. I don't know. iDream getting hit by the Divine Storm. The Ancestral Healing will keep him nice and healthy here. Fury is very low. The Feral Lunge going up from Dunktrain, trying to put on some extra damage. This fort will fall, and this Dragon Knight still has 30 seconds to push on forward with.
Oh, he did take graduating range.
Ha!
I hope that wasn't during the very quick instant that he disconnected, that it was graduating range. Just like
no!
We'll just assume that that was his intention, of course.
Yeah, let's just pray. Fury walking the other side to make sure he's punted into a happy place, not punted into a sad place full of despair and enemies. And we see the double side storm has been picked up here. The root will go down, and the bolt is going to go out from iDream just before he gets tagged by that root. Of course, if you're hit by the root, you are stuck in that spot, and he would have likely fallen here. So nicely done on his part. Meanwhile, these knights did push forward. They ended up falling, and the minions are still pushing forward here, making this fort vulnerable. And, the Dragon Knight didn't do that much.
No, they weren't able to get a keep out of it despite getting that pretty early kill onto the hammer there. They played it safe. Maelstrom did, of course. They have secured themselves 1 1/4 level lead or so. If they continue to ride this towards that coveted level 20 to pick up those extra crazy talents, that might be the case. Now, of course, I think it's going to be BARRELBOYS that are relying on that a little bit more in terms of the new talents that are picked. Maybe ETC will... Yeah, especially if you're going stage dive, I imagine you're probably going to try to grab that Stone Skin talent level 20.
There's that stage dive you mentioned. We see Tranquility is being used pretty much instantaneously in pair with this Archon. Now that's 2 heroics being used for 1, but they're going to get a bit of aggression out of it. They are a full level behind still. And if BARRELBOYS can get an early keep, that's great. This graduating range is the current problem. They're sieging it from afar. Caffeine trying to dash in from the backside. He's doing a good job of behind it, but iDream will end up falling. The Odin sitting at full health right now. We're going to get these talents out of the way. So much damage being done. Trumbull is they're trying to keep him alive. The heals go down. The big blast coming out of that Odin doing so much damage. Those Ragnarok shells do slow everything they hit, and that Feral Lunge is a lot of bonus damage as well. Getting out of those Ragnarok shells is crucial right now, and they are in full-on disengagement, even though it's a 4v4.
Yeah, it was a quick trade, but yeah, I don't think that they would be able to sustain that anymore. Really nice root from McIntyre onto King Caffeine there. I don't think that they should be able to pick up any kills here. That Napalm Strike almost killing Dunktrain. Cursed Fury is probably the one. Oh, and they're actually going to switch this around here onto King Caffeine. They're just barely missing the kill.
One more hit. There's no burst. There's no boost. Nothing's available. K1 Pro is super low. Dunktrain is about a hit away from death. Every single member is very low right now. Oh my goodness, Biceps will be the first one to fall. Dwarf Toss will secure that kill. King Caffeine will fall as well. Nicely done with that Napalm Strike. Mouth will just a Moonfire. Anything, please.
They did a really nice job turning that around. I didn't expect them to be able to just flip that switch and just say, okay, now it's our turn to just turn around and get kills here. But they absolutely managed to do it. And that almost evens things out. That's really unfortunate for Trumbull here. And he is going to get himself a bit out of position. Nicely done from iDream, who of course was eliminated fairly early in that fight, finds himself back up, perhaps a bit earlier than Trumbull was expecting. And that's going to be musical shrines, as Jake likes
Magical shrines.
Magical shrines.
Magical shrines could be.
One day I'll
Do you even play this game?
All right, so of course C9 Maelstrom is quite a bit in the lead here in terms of getting to those level 20 talents.
Yeah, I mean they're inching their way on forward.
Yeah,
about half a level ahead at this point in time. And
Protoss battles.
Protoss battles indeed. Now Kubi, during this lull with this little Protoss battle, the VP to just stall it out. Now he can't actually cap that shrine because of the new change they made to the Void Prison. All objectives in mercenary camps can actually be captured when the VP is covering them. But what I was going to say, Kubi, was this new beautiful Uther detail skin. Well, this week was my Reddit cake day. Where's my gift? Where's your gift? Everyone gets gifts for Reddit cake days, right?
No.
What's the point of that?
I have no words for that.
Fury is caught out of position, and he will be eliminated here. Just throwing down that safety policy strafe to make sure that he does, in fact, die. Of course, Vala doesn't have battle momentum in this game, so using strafe is a little bit more of a bigger deal than we typically would say.
Yeah. Absolutely. Good point. So, yeah, we see the C9 Maelstrom's really close to level 20, and I wonder if Zeratil's going to grab that rewind, and I'm just absolutely curious to see how much of an impact that's going to have in this fight here. Of course, we also perhaps will get that big red button and Storm Shield, etc. There's a lot of good talents that are riding on this level 20 for Maelstrom, and that's going to give them a huge timing attack to push forward here. And I imagine with this Dragon Knight, it should be pretty easy for them to pick up one of these keeps at the very least.
Yeah, we can see they're funneling into this middle lane. ETC is cleaning up the bottom lane, but can stage dive whenever he feels like it. And here are those level 20 talents you mentioned.
Yeah, we do have that rewind on Zeratul, Storm Shield on Rhaegar, Bolt for everybody else, including ETC, Bala, and Tychus, of course.
Well, that stage dive comes on in, and this keep is falling oh so very quickly. The Dragon Knight's still at about half health. The graduating range giving Hammer an absurd amount of range. There goes the Ancestral Healing on Dunk, using it on himself there to make sure he does not fall. And they are just going to back on up here with this Dragon Knight, which still has another 45 seconds on its health bar. Duration, rather.
Duration, yes.
Duration.
Yeah, we surprised. I mean, they're taking a bit of a safe route here. I'm not really sure why they're not really pushing a little bit further. You would think, oh, they're backing up Stick Mercs. No, that's not even really possible in this situation. So I guess that they're just trying to keep the lanes pushed out from here, but all they're really doing is giving BARRELBOYS a chance to hit that level 20. I think that they probably could have applied a little bit more safe pressure. Cursed Fury having to activate that stone form.
Yeah, he took so much damage there. A nice attempt there by the mouth throwing the Root Sound underneath the Dragon Knight as it explodes, because if you can catch the Zeratul underneath that, they'll get locked in there and they can't actually blink out of the way. So a nice attempt, but Cloud9 was there in full force. Now Storm Shield is actually used here. Very precautionary play here by Maelstrom.
I think they saw that the Hammer was nicely sieged up over that wall. It's going to be very difficult to break that position, of course. And it will be some time before any further objectives are available, so we can just see that the teams are sort of contesting each other over these mercenary camps. No one's going to be able to dash onto that shrine just in time for BARRELBOYS.
Oh no, that massive Void Prison iDream is so very low, but they don't have enough to burst him down. Fury is forced to use that Dwarf Toss over the wall. So much damage being done. The Hammer is getting maximum damage done.
Oh,
nothing can stop her. She can shoot everything in this range here. They're throwing down that Ragnarok rockets to try to slow her down, but you know,
can't slow down what isn't moving.
A good point there, Kubi.
But yeah, I mean, the graduating range it's been an interesting pickup, but it has been showing quite a bit of value, especially just finding these fortified positions. I mean, right here, you can see, oh, I'm not in range here, but it's going to be quite difficult to penetrate this situation here.
And that range grows and grows and grows, and she's backing on up. Level 20 is so very close.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they're pushing forward this aggressively. One structure at this point in time will hit level 20 for them. And level 20 means Hammer will get 20% additional attack speed and range. And it becomes even more dangerous. And here it is. Where is it? There it is. Nexus Frenzy, 20% attack speed and range. It is now even more dangerous at this point in time. Trummel has really hit his stride, but he's getting blown up so quickly with double support coming into play. Dunk Train gets melted from the roots. They're locked into place. A big Divine Storm out of blinks. Caffeine, Bolts of the Storm, right on out of that battle at the last possible second. But look how far he's sieging this up from.
This is absolutely insane. They're getting so much value. Oh my gosh. They're making this Hammer look silly. And I get what Biceps is doing here, is just trying to inch Trummel back far enough, but at what cost here? I mean, they've lost two of their heroes just trying to get to the Hammer. And the amount of burst healing that's coming out here, I don't know what they're going to be able to do to stop this push.
I mean, he can siege from here. He can siege from here. And yeah, like you said, they have to go all in. He's looking for the dance. There's the dance.
He doesn't even have it.
Immediately. I think he used it.
Maybe not. He has stage time.
Oh, you're right. Oh my goodness.
I don't know what they're going to do.
K1 Pro. K1 Pro. Can you do this by yourself? Sergeant Hammer, the siege damage is just going up.
And the hero damage. Look at that hero damage compared to everyone else in the team.
In the game. I mean, topping these charts. We are zoomed way out, ladies and gentlemen. This is the maximum zoom range, and we can barely cover the attack range that Hammer has. Whew. It's pretty okay.
It's pretty okay. So that's why I was a little bit upset with Maelstrom's decision to not get so aggressive with that last Dragon Knight they had, right? They had, I don't even know, I can't say that they were going to win the game, but they should have tried to force more situations where they were going to get a kill, right? If they get a kill, yes, they can win the game. And they had to, at that point, know what the strategy for the Hammer is going to be, right? I know what you're laughing at. Funny guy, but I have a point to make, right? All right, so they needed to push in, because once Hammer hits 20, things get ridiculous.
Yeah.
And if you don't try to end the game, or at least put yourself in a really, really good situation when they've hit 20, you're essentially throwing the game away. And I think that they should have put quite a bit more effort into trying to at least shove their hand, I guess. I don't really know how to put it, but I was just a little disappointed with them not pushing a little bit harder. That said, we do have a 2-1 victory for BARRELBOYS, taking that salty run back on Shire. They said, we know the solution here. We just stall until level 20 with Hammer, and then things get real silly. And silly they got in their favor. They pushed from a situation where they were quite a bit behind.
As soon as they knew they were close to 20, they're just like, time to push.
Yeah.
Time to push. Graduating range.
And just as long as
Profit.
you have the double healer.
Profit. No, I was a bit surprised, but it worked. It worked.
Did work.
And
it did work.
That range, I mean, that 20% additional range on top of graduating range, which of course the ring expands as you're sieged up for longer.
I think they both could work.
Yeah,
honestly, with the 20% range, so it's like with hover siege, you adjust your range by moving, but in graduating, it just adjusts for you.
Yeah.
So
you can pretty much
I think you can
pretty much siege up from where their keep is and just destroy their core.
Insane.
It's some powerful
cool,
stuff.
Though a new strategy with these new level 20 talents that were picked up, and really nice to see these teams innovating. BARRELBOYS have always been known for doing these kind of crazy strategies on the fly like this, and awesome. Good stuff to them, taking that 2-1 victory. And I think, I'm not sure what time it is, Jake, but I know that our next match, of course, is scheduled at 10 o'clock. And wow, it is 3 minutes up.
Wow.
So
how convenient. Well, on that note, guys, we're going to get ready real quick here for our next series, which will, in fact, be 2 Gilead versus Murlocs Inc.
Yes. So we're going to go to a quick commercial break. I'm sure we'll get all that stuff set up. I bet they've already striked out and they got their maps ready. So, all right. We'll go to a quick commercial break, and stay tuned, guys. We'll be back in just a few.